Good morning, peace and blessings. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Moon Mama. Wednesday is the day that is governed by Mercury, and Mercury is currently retrograde at the 24th degree of Gemini. And I'm sure everybody can feel it. We're having a Mercury retrograde. We're in an eclipse window. That is also, we're going to have an eclipse in Gemini. We're going to have a new moon in Gemini. So there's a lot of Gemini energy. The northern node is in Gemini. And so, and the eclipse and the Mercury retrograde really is a pretty severe reboot all at once. And I'm going to try to explain it the best way that I can with just like story and metaphor. So America, this Western system that we live in, that is America, is a game like Monopoly. It is a game. And who they call the founding fathers came here. They were escaping persecution. That group of people were so-called escaping persecution over in Europe. And so they came here for freedom, and they created a game, a system. They created laws. They bought in cheap labor or free labor. And then they built a whole thing on this American land. Really, that is like a big Disneyland, right? The challenge is that we believe it's real. It's one thing if we're here and we're just in the play of it, but it's another thing when we believe it's real. So what I know for me, as someone whose ancestors were a part of the building of this nation and a part of not just the building, it's like our blood, our bone is in the fiber of this nation. So the conditioning of being a part of that experience really makes this thing feel real, because we feel like we belong to it. We feel, you know what I mean? It's like giving your arm away or something like that. Like you need your arm. And for those of us who have been in this country for generations and our ancestors built it, we feel like we are a part of it. And so that is first psychological. It's spiritual, it's psychological. And so our thoughts are aligned into this system that is a game, that is not real, that is just a created reality that we can uncreate and do anything else, right? That we choose to. So the work, while Mercury's in retrograde, so I really want to invite you guys to sign up for the Mercury retrograde class. The first live class will be on the 9th. Mercury was retrograding until June 22nd. And this energy is giving us what it is that we need to create a new mental reality, to really get our mental power. It's so important. Yes, we have an auric field, we have emotional power, we have heart power, we have all of this power and energy, but it comes to existence through our mentality, right? So Gemini is what governs the perceived reality, how we create this reality. So like I said, these founding fathers coming in and saying, we're going to create a government. It's going to have 3 branches. It's going to have a judicial, whatever the branches are in this moment. My mind they're escaping my mind. The judicial, the legislative, and the congressional. I think that's what it is. So, but it's almost like this is what the people are going to have to do to get past go, right? So we believe it is so real. The thing that we want to do in the Mercury retrograde is look at it and see it for what it really is. Now, I just use the government as an example. We have other governments in our own minds, right? The way you treat your body is how you govern your body. The way you relate to your loved one is how you govern in relationships. All of those things are built upon this Western identity that is out of alignment with nature, that is all for play. So we have this romance and it makes us feel this way, and all of that's just like, but we believe it's real because we feel this certain things, like we're tied into it. We're so integral in our ways of being that it feels real to us. And the work of Mercury retrograde is to question and to do the work to see what the patterns are. Like, for instance, I have been really in a thought pattern about the way I was taught to relate, the way I was taught to love, the way I was taught that men and women should to be together, right? What's the power structure? I've been thinking a lot about that because Mercury's in retrograde, and it's helping me really get clear about where it was misaligned, where I was believing something that really didn't serve me, where I was believing something that my mother believed and maybe it wasn't true for me, and then being able to realign it. So this is what Mercury retrograde will help us do. And today, Mercury is retrograde at the 24th degree. Let me tell you something. It's mind-boggling to talk about this stuff. Mercury is retrograde at the 24th degree, which is about regeneration. So what we're up to during this Mercury retrograde today is looking at our thought processes, the situations that create the lives that we have. And regeneration is really like a death. It's like, let some aspect of it die so that another aspect can be born. So where am I doing that in my life? So I'm absolutely doing it in my life with the way I have related in love relationships. I am giving myself, I'm sorry, I feel my cat's pulling from beneath me. I'm giving myself an opportunity to really get clear about how I related in love. And so it brings me back to who my father was and him being a pimp and how he would overpower my mother. One of the things that was so interesting about the dynamics between my parents was that my father was like 5'5" and my mother was like 5'9", and he would beat her, right? And I would just, as a child, I would think, why is she letting that little man beat her? It was, of course, there was drama and I was crying, like all that when they would be fighting, right? But I would also be thinking, why is she letting this little man beat her? But she would do this thing. My mother, she was tricky. So what she would do, because she was a prostitute, she would I remember one time my father he was on a call with one of his friends, and he got off the call and he said to my mother, like maybe his friend's name was Mike, and he was like, yo, you took Mike's watch. And he said he wants his watch back. And what my mother had done was she had slept with my father's friend and took his watch so the friend would call and ask my father for it. So that's how my mother would get back at him. She would do really, sexual power play things. So he would beat her and then she would do things that would really cut him really low. So they had this relationship that was like really terrorizing to one another. So that imprinted my psyche. So right now, as I am looking at the way I relate, I am doing the work to undo those patterns, those beliefs, those stories, so that energy gets free, and then I can create it for something else, right? This is how we want to use the energy. So if you'd like to book a Mercury retrograde reading, come and book a reading with me. You can do so on my calendar. I also am offering right now, today is the first day of the 13 moons initiation, new moon in Gemini, the new moon in Gemini and the full moon in Capricorn. And we're going to be working with the power of forgiveness. Like, where do we need to access forgiveness in our lives for ourselves and for others? And so this class starts today. It's $97. It's a fantastic class with rituals and breath work and, just some sort of therapeutic, a little bit of therapy work, but mostly it's ritual. All of my classes are really ritual based so that we can move the subconscious energy and open up the portals. It's like the rituals are like, it's like they blow up the dam, the blocks. The rituals move the blocks so that you can get to the next place. And where we are on the planet right now, many of us have tons of blocks because we're still in this ancestral work. Like, we're moving into the age of Aquarius and it's a new thing. So I have the Pluto retrograde class. I have the Saturn retrograde class, which is about your identity, like really claiming a new identity for yourself. And I know for me, I really had to claim an identity that was really based in, I'm powerful, that I'm not giving my power away. I literally am using my power as I desire it, right? That I'm not at the effect of things, that I'm not helpless anymore. So I've had to create a new identity around that. So those are the classes that I'm offering. But today, while Mercury is retrograde at the 24th degree, you want to be looking at how you can regenerate your mental power and where it's being siphoned off in ways that it doesn't work for you. The moon is in the last quarter phase, so this is when it's time. We're about to start a new moon cycle. We're looking at the rest is like the last month is ending, and we're starting a new moon cycle with the new moon in Gemini and a full moon in Capricorn, and the moon is in Pisces today, right? So you want to be thinking about Pisces is this empathic energy, and how can you use your empathic subconscious power in a new way? And then you look at that retrograde energy. So, or come book a reading with me. Come book a reading with me, and I'd be happy to chat with you about it and all of that sort of stuff. So, I'm done. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.